Good morning, Uday and Bhargav. Today is Wednesday, November 8th, and here's a heads-up brief for today. Today's production to our clients consisted of a total of 74 issues. In East Asia Pacific, we covered 35 issues. In South Asia, 23 issues, and 16 issues in the EMEA region. I will be briefing you on the major issues of today's production.
Hey, Bassel. Thank you. Let's discuss the major issues, please.
In East Asia Pacific, I'll be covering the top three of the 35 issues. In Indonesia, the Ethics Council of the Constitutional Court yesterday ruled that 9 Constitutional Court judges had violated the Code of Ethics and Behavior for Judges. This violation included an inability to maintain the confidentiality of information discussed during judges' deliberation meetings and engaging in practices that violated conflicts of interests. We covered this as the major development in EAP today.
Yeah, this is very interesting, Bassel. Tell the team to track this. The Chief Justice of the Constitutional Court, who is President Joko Widodo's brother-in-law, recently was headed a ruling in which that allowed President Widodo's son to campaign as a vice presidential candidate for next year's elections, which caused a lot of controversy. So it's refreshing to see that the ruling has found an ethics violation, but Jokowi's son is already on the ticket now, so there's not much that can be done at this point. But it will be important to see how this develops and whether the opposition jumps on this and what comes out of this. So let's keep an eye out, yeah.
Well noted today. In South Korea, the government announced yesterday that it would ease regulations and reduce administrative procedures to implement and promote major investment projects in the country. These projects include S-Oil Corporation's petrochemical plant project and the US-based Sphere Entertainment Corporation's K-pop arena construction plan. This is expected to lead to an increase in foreign direct investment in South Korea.
All right, thanks.
In New Zealand, heavy rain in Hawke's Bay, North Island, has led to flooding, road closures, and evacuation of people since yesterday. The heavy rainfall caused flooding in Nuhaka, leading to the evacuation of people. State Highway 2 was closed between Wirinaki and Gisborne, with road crews clearing debris that included fallen trees and slips caused by flooding. The civil defense authorities are remaining vigilant in the region, as heavy rain is expected also in the coming days.
All right, thanks. Let's keep a close eye on this and issue any advisories if we deem it fits. Thanks.
Sure, Uday. In South Asia, I'll be covering the top issue of the 23 issues. In Afghanistan, at least 7 people were killed and 20 others were injured after a minibus was targeted by a bomb attack in the Dachti, Barchi area of Kabul yesterday. The Islamic State Khorasan province has claimed the responsibility for the attack. The attack is notable because it is the first major attack in the city in recent months. The Taliban has been cracking down on the Islamic State in the country, which has also been operating in Pakistan. We covered this as the major development in South Asia today.
All right. So ISKP continues to test the governance and security capabilities of Taliban in Afghanistan. And Afghan Taliban are likely to have more challenges with newer refugees who are displaced from Pakistan entering Afghanistan. So there will be multiple challenges, both on security as well as administrative front. We got to also consider that more they target ISKP in Afghanistan, it may have a direct or indirect impact in Pakistan as well. So let's say if they do succeed in pushing ISKP to a greater extent out of Afghan territory, they're likely to shift bases in Pakistan. However, if ISKP continues to succeed in carrying out attacks in Afghanistan, it will also have a similar impact on Pakistan as well. So it's a very dicey situation for both governments, Taliban and Pakistan. So let's keep a closer eye on such activities in both the countries and see how things evolve across the region, please. Thank you.
Sure, Bhargav, that's very well noted. In the EMEA region, I'll be covering the top 2 of the 16 issues. In Russia, the Foreign Ministry announced yesterday that Russia formally withdrew from the Conventional Armed Forces Treaty yesterday. This treaty was signed back in 1990, and it was considered a landmark security treaty that limited key categories of conventional armed forces in Europe. It was designed to prevent either side of the Cold War from amassing forces for a swift offensive against the other in Europe. In response, NATO allies condemned Russia's suspension of the treaty and said they would suspend its operation in response. This move could contribute to a further deterioration of the security situation in Europe, which may be particularly concerning for Eastern European countries that are located close to Russia. We conveyed this to our clients via an advisory message today.
All right, this reeks of Western hypocrisy as usual. They want Russia and everybody else to follow through with the treaties and agreements while they can continue to ignore and quite literally sideline everything that actually matters. And they have pushed Russia into a corner, which will only result in such withdrawals from critical treaties and undoing of everything that's been done since 1990s when Soviet Union collapsed. So we see a progressive return to a multipolar Cold War situation, which has already been triggered since the start of the Ukraine war. So let's keep a close eye on how things evolve on the Ukraine and Eastern European front. Thank you.
Sure, Bhargav. Also, here's an update on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has said the IDF has advanced to the heart of Gaza City and are intensifying operations against Hamas. This includes targeting Hamas command structures and tunnels in northern Gaza. The White House yesterday said that the U.S. would oppose Gaza's reoccupation by the IDF post-conflict. Netanyahu has also said there will be no ceasefire and no entry of fuel or workers into Gaza without the release of hostages. Clashes between the IDF and Hezbollah continued along the Lebanese-Israeli border as well. We conveyed this to our clients via an advisory message today.
All right. The American message is very important. Any reoccupation of Palestinian territories will only spell more complex security operations, which Israel has time and again failed, especially in southern Lebanon. So we'll have to see how Netanyahu's security infrastructure moves in Gaza as well as in the West Bank to a greater extent. Now, Hezbollah's reaction to such a reoccupation will also be quite critical. It may open up multiple fronts to the north. At the same time, Bassel, if you could chime in on where things are with Hezbollah.
So at the moment, the group have recurrently opposed Israel's full invasion into Gaza. They also opposed the annihilation of Hamas by the IDF and said that any attempt by the IDF to annihilate Hamas or stop Hamas and take control of the Gaza Strip will result in the opening of the Northern Front. So basically the clashes were along the border, along the blue line, which is the UNIFIL, the UN Interim Force in Lebanon line. However, it has expanded to some around 10 kilometers deep into both the Lebanese and Israeli territories. Some sources also claim that Hezbollah have targeted the Haifa city, which is around I think 25 kilometers from the borderline. So the conflict is intensifying between the two, but it's still according to the established rules of the game at the moment.
All right. So another component to consider here is what is the ultimate objective of such a reoccupation of Gaza, if at all that's what they're targeting? Are they trying to cripple Hamas? Are they trying to take out their key leadership? And lack of such clear objectives in military terms will only leave the operation in limbo in the medium to long term. We have seen that in multiple cases with US itself. Like, what are they doing in Iraq? What were they doing in Afghanistan? Shamefully withdrawing in the middle of nowhere, right? So let's keep a close eye on such military movements and keep our clients updated. Thank you.
Yes, we're monitoring this closely. That's it for today. Thank you, Uday and Bhargav.
Thanks.